Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining. This is a very special episode. I think we're going to probably start doing these periodically, but we're just going to sync up with Jo Jorgensen's Kentucky campaign. And we have Kendahl Foright with us, who's the deputy director of the Kentucky campaign. And we have Betsy Roberts, which is, you're the media director. Is that right, Betsy?
Yeah.
That's excellent.
Thank you.
And one of the, as libertarians, we're not normally all about this, but tomorrow's a special day. And I think tomorrow's a special day that we need to pay some attention to. We really do want to celebrate because we're all about the individual, and women are individuals, right? So what's tomorrow, Betsy?
Tomorrow, the entire country is celebrating the 100th anniversary of white women gaining the right to vote, otherwise known as women's suffrage or 19th Amendment. So the National Jorgensen campaign is going to be starting an event tomorrow and lasting until August 26th. To raise awareness, because we think it's a great opportunity to get people talking about Jo Jorgensen, and also that we just think it's awesome to be able to have a woman for president on the 100th anniversary that will fight for everyone's rights. You know, obviously not women, but for everybody.
Right, and I that's what I love about Jo, is it's not a matter of, hey, let's vote for this woman who's a great candidate. It's like, let's vote for this great candidate who happens to be a woman. And it really, like you said, it's incredibly poetic that 100 years ago they were just, fighting for the rights to vote, and now she's fighting for all our rights. But man, where's my voice tonight? I hope you'll indulge me. I grabbed a few notes. I just grabbed this off of a wiki page, and this is just some of the prior laws. Like in 1843 in Kentucky, married women gained the rights to own and manage property in their own name, as long as their spouse was incapacitated. and
Of course, I'm always going to do that.
Well, I mean, yeah, you don't expect to be able to manage your own stuff if you have a husband to take care of it for you, do you? And then in 46, you gain the rights to own but not control, and I think that's even if your spouse is okay. And one of my favorites, or least favorites, I guess, depending on your perspective, is this one in 1910. No, sorry, the 1908. Basically, they upheld a law that puts a restrictions on the working hours of women, and that one really resonated with me because, I like for the. I'm not going to go through all of these. There's too many, but I commonly get upset when people try to intervene between employers and employee, because I like for people to be able to sort out the rights for themselves. And, that was an example of government not only intervening, but only for one particular gender. And, stuff like that drives me nuts. And I think people miss that even if you're well-meaning, when you're in a legislature, or if you're in an executive office, you may not be able to empathize with this other group of people. You may try, but you're not them. Nobody can truly walk in another man's shoes, or in this case, another woman's shoes. But, the easiest way through that is to simply be inclusive, to include as many people as possible. But there's also too many paths for us to include everyone who's walked through every path of life. It simply won't work. So we have to couple that with the idea of the government that governs least is the government that governs best. You know, if you're not limiting how many hours people can work, if you're not assuming government has that right, then the discussion of failing to empathize with how many hours men want to work versus women want to work isn't really an issue. You're already not butting in, so it's already fine. But I hope I didn't rant on too long there.
Those are fun facts.
Yeah,
or it made me think of that song, "These Boots Are Made for Walking." That's nobody needs to hear me sing. That's all right.
Right. So, but you know, for that to matter, for her perspective to matter, for Joe's perspective to matter, we're going to have to get her in front of people. And one of the absolute biggest places she's being excluded right out of the gate is the debate. Mm-hmm. What's up with that? Where are we at with that? What do we need to do?
Well, with this event that starts tomorrow, that's a way to get people talking. And just real briefly, I'll kind of go over that. You can go to Facebook and hashtag We Are Liberty, hashtag Victory Red, and you're going to find the post that people are making. And then we can also post the actual Facebook event page.
Okay.
And they're encouraging everyone to wear bright red lipstick because back in the day, in 1920, not every woman was actually for the right to vote. So you had to know who your partners were, and so that's what women did back then. Is they wore bright red lipstick, and we're encouraging women to do that or put bright red lips on their masks.
Okay.
Taking a selfie, making a video, and letting people know why you choose to participate. And that way you can, post it on your own personal page or on the national libertarian pages, or tweeting, whatever your social media, whatever you prefer. And then if anybody doesn't want to wear lipstick, that's fine too. You could just dress in red. You can have a temporary tattoo of a big red lips, or like I said, put your mask on and put bright red lips on it. Maybe even jo20.com or hashtag she's with us. Let her debate, to get that debate conversation going, because it is important that we get her on the debate stage, because she's the only candidate that actually has a plan for the topics that we generally care about, like bringing the troops home, like police reform, opening up those borders, free trade, things like that.
Right. And that's a great example. I was just talking with Lex Hannon in Northern Kentucky, helps me a lot with communications. And free trade is a huge deal with me. And I think it's a huge deal with all libertarians. And it's also a huge deal with certain Republicans. Not necessarily the Trump followers, but there's a lot of Republicans out there that were champions of free trade. And there's even a few Democrats that are champions of free trade. I'm sorry, folks, you're not going to have anybody championing free trade on the flipping stage unless you get Joe on the stage. And I don't know if you've realized that, but because the Democrats' stance toward China right now is pretty similar to the Republicans, actually. And I mean, that's the thing. Historically, Democrats haven't been for free trade. Historically, it's been the Republicans. We have no champions for free trade. Joe is your only option. So if you want, and the other candidates aren't going to discuss it unless they're forced. Your only hope of getting candidates getting real answers about free trade is going to be Joe Jorgensen. And the same's probably true for descheduling cannabis.
Mm-hmm. And that goes along with police reform. So that's so important. A lot of people don't make that link. There's a big push for police reform right now, but we're the only party that has been for it since our inception back in 1971, 72.
Right.
So we truly are the only party. that are pro all walks of life since the start, whether it is people of color or LGBTQ. But like what you were saying with Schedule 1 and legalizing marijuana or maybe, some other drugs, people don't realize that there's many, many, many cases where police are planting drugs on innocent people.
Right.
And most of those innocent people, if you look at the stats, are people of color that are targeted, and that would take that away. That would take that away from that. It would be incredibly helpful for obviously medicinal, and all the other states that have legalized it. It's been incredibly successful. I don't know, well, maybe not incredibly, but it's been successful, and obviously it's a great tax revenue.
And Schedule 1's a crazy thing anyway, because it's like saying you can't research it, you can't do anything with it. You have to stay the heck away from it unless you jump through a whole heck of a lot of hoops, because it has no medicinal value. And you can't show it has medicinal value because you can't do the research. And, we had decades of people going to jail for that. Kind of a bit of a Kentucky hero is Gatewood Galbraith, actually the first man I ever voted for. And, I learned a lot about legalization of marijuana from him. And just to be clear, because we talked about this last night, actually none of the three of us smoke pot.
Right.
Kendahl and I
don't take any drugs. I even have a hard time. If I have a headache, I usually just drink more water because, that can tend to. But anyways, that doesn't matter. That now we're getting into a whole different argument about pharmaceuticals, and that's a whole different article. But anyways, yeah, no drugs. But I think everyone should have the freedom as long as they're not hurting me. If my next door neighbor wants to puff down, how is that hurting me? How is that hurting me or anyone else?
Right. So if you want someone who stands for any of that on the stage, you've got to get Joe on the stage. And if you don't get at least someone who stands for that on the stage, then the two old parties are just going to stonewall you. They're not going to talk about it unless you force them.
Yeah.
So.
And it's just gonna be the same old that we've heard 4 years ago, 8 years ago, 12 years ago. I can vouch for that. I'm old enough to know. I've seen these debates, and it is the same questions and same pandering answers every single 4 years.
Right.
It's a fact. It's not in my opinion. It's a fact.
Absolutely. So
can I talk more about speaking of the debates, just talking more about the CPD, which stands for Commission of Presidential Debates. If you all don't know that, and I know you guys know that. I mean, the audience. There are they have set rules in place, and one of them is basically unobtainable, and that's why this is so important. And why we are trying to get the word out and spread the word as much as possible and create these events like that's starting tomorrow. We've had events in the past that I'm gonna talk about, but they basically block a third party from being able to debate because one of the main rules, the one big hurdle that we struggle with, is that a third party must garner 15% of the votes from 5 national polls. Well, those are, a lot of people realize that in order to get in the debates, those are those people that call you and you usually ignore it because it's a spam caller, you don't know. But if you actually get on the phone, then they're going to ask you, this is all they say. Are you going to vote for Biden or for Trump? That's it. That's all they say. So how are we supposed to get 15% when we're not included? And if you say neither, I'm for Joe Jorgensen or whatever third party you wish. If you say no, I'm not voting for either one, then oftentimes they say that, I'm sorry, our system is not set up to input a third party, and you are counted as either other or actually undecided. And I'm not undecided at all whatsoever.
Right.
Whatsoever. So this is what's important. And a very good Facebook page, if you want to get involved, is called Pollsters for Joe, Pollsters for Joe. And what they do is they give you all the contact information for the CPD as well as those national polling companies. So that way, if you want to email them, call them, tweet, whatever your choice is, and you want to let them know, hey, no, Joe Jorgensen deserves to be in the debates. I encourage you to go ahead and go to that website. They're constantly putting up information, and they're also actually putting up links to online polls, so that way it's a little more fair. So, for example, if there's a poll that only includes Trump or Biden, then we get that opportunity. They post the link and they say help, and we get that opportunity to input there and say, please include Joe Jorgensen. I'm going to be voting for Joe Jorgensen. I vote for her. She's with us. It gives you a chance to put your 2 cents in there and be able to support. And even if you aren't a supporter of Joe Jorgensen, you haven't decided yet, you can still help out by, if you do get that call, and you can encourage your Democrat and Republican friends. If they feel like that a third party that is on the ballot, and most likely she will be on every single state. So it's pretty ridiculous there that she's going to be, on every single ballot in all 50 states. Howie Hawkins is going to be Hawkins. The Green Party is also going to be on multiple ballots. So right there, they should be able to be on the debate stage. But if you are someone that is choosing to vote for a Democrat or Republican, you can still help her out if you believe that she deserves the right to be on the debate stage. But when you get that call and that poller asks you, who are you voting for? You might as well say Joe Jorgensen, because that doesn't have anything to do with the election. That only has to do with getting her on the debate stage. And so who knows, then you might be the one that helps her, have that opportunity, or whatever third party you choose. So that's just another way to help out and encourage everyone to answer those phone calls right now. Another thing that the Pollsters for Joe does is, I believe they actually submit the times of when they're actually making those calls. They'll actually put the date out and be like, okay, CNN or whatever company has already started calling. So please answer your phone. And it's not always landlines. They do call cell phones as well.
So you can go to joe20.com. You can look at our issues. And this is if you're a D or an R. If you're a D or R, please go to joe20.com. And if you see something you're passionate about, and one of the other candidates aren't going to cover it, like the free trade or like the descheduling of cannabis, take that into account, and who you want to tell these pollsters you're for, because they're gaming the system all the time. You can game it on them, and you can get another voice on the stage, and you can get the things that you're passionate about represented. And instead of you just having to check the box for, whichever party you commonly align with. And that's even if you plan on still checking that box this fall. You can still at least push them to pay attention to your topic.
Yep. Good point. Yep, for sure.
Absolutely. So what else because the impetus of this, the reason we're doing this to begin with is we wanted to get people more engaged. For instance, I was driving back from a Take Back Kentucky event on Saturday, and I saw this big Trump tent set up, and I saw people with Trump swag out there, and they're out there. We need to be out there. How do we get organized? How do we get out there?
There's an activity that I just saw today. I believe it's this Thursday, and it's actually the Tea Party, though. It's not a libertarian thing. But what they're doing is in Louisville, the Black Lives Matter folks have basically been, I don't know if you want to use the word attacking, but demanding certain things of businesses. So on the news recently, there was a Cuban restaurant. I'm sorry, I forget the name. I know my Louisville folks probably definitely know it. It's in the Nulu area,
Right.
and I'm sure it's absolutely delicious. But the demands that the Black Lives Matter people are making are a little bit too far, and why do they have the right to tell this Cuban restaurant what they should be doing? Especially because they're people of color too, and they've had to go through, I'm sure, many struggles to, maybe come to maybe some of the people that work there or have started the business and maybe they weren't born here, but
And there was the thing with having their country taken away from them by communists. There's that.
Yeah. And so they're definitely not for communism, but there's an event at the Tom Sawyer Park, which is off of Westport Road, the East End area near Anchorage. And they are going to have the restaurant owners and the Cuban community speaking. So I think that would be a great opportunity for libertarians, just like you just happen to find the Trump tent. It'd be a great opportunity to mingle with those folks and say, hey, by the way, Joe Jorgensen is all for this and this and this. Joe Jorgensen is for you, for helping.
Right. So, is the state campaign? And I'm putting you on the spot here, but is the state campaign going to be doing anything to help people find such spots? Are we going to make any sort of nexus for this information to get exchanged? I mean, you spotted,
being able to find all of these events. I mean, I think that
and being able to share. I mean, somebody needs. Betsy, I saw this. What are we doing about it? Or Kendahl, that sort of thing.
I think we had the Kentucky. What's Brett's title? I can't think.
Brett's the director. We do have a Facebook group
of Kentucky, and I know that's like one of his goals too, at least in the state of Kentucky, is to just get the word out with more events. And the hardest part is that we're all volunteers for the most part. We don't have a whole lot of money. All of our money comes from hardworking individuals that are knocking on doors, calling you, because we don't take money from lobbyists and crony capitalism. We are not. That's the way you get corrupt, and that's the way you get bureaucracy and bad stuff. So we don't want to involve ourselves in that. And so, but the challenge is, being able to have enough people to, keep this organized. And I think that every day that goes by and every year that goes by, we're getting better and better at getting the word out for these events and being more specific. Okay, this person or this department or this team, this is going to be your focus, and that's it. Don't worry about anything else. Instead of all over the place.
Well, as a candidate, let me put a slightly different spin on this. Not taking money from
all the talking. Kendahl gets to talk.
You're fine.
Yeah.
I was going to say, if I could interject real quickly.
Yeah,
we do have a Facebook group
all the time. Wait, that way. Interrupt.
We do have a Facebook group. It's Kentucky for Joe Jorgensen Campaign Hub, and that's a good one to join to stay connected and connect with other volunteers and figure out where we're doing events and what we're doing, and even just organize one yourself. If you just decide you want to go out and wave a sign on the corner one day, then go do it. Take your friends, take somebody else in the area and go out and do it.
People are painting
take it upon yourself.
People are painting little rocks and putting, whatever debate and hashtag whatever, and just putting rocks around neighborhoods. It's a great way to just, somebody's walking along or some kid is even like, mommy, look at this, and that's something that's potentially free to do and doesn't take a lot of time. You can do it in your own neighborhood. You can go downtown. Sorry.
Another good way to stay connected with us is to go to the joe20.com/volunteer and sign up on there. So when you sign up, your email and everything is going to get sent to me, and I'm going to email you with all of the updates on the campaign and events and what we're doing. So yes, I think he's pulling it up there. So you'll put your information in there. And then it'll be me that's emailing you and saying, hey, what do you want to do? Let's do something. So that's a really good way to stay connected. So we actually have 131 volunteers in Kentucky right now, which we've gotten in less than 2 months. So that's fantastic. I would love to have 200 volunteers by September 15th if we can. Let's keep going.
We've got to
keep building our volunteer base and support.
We've got to show those Democrats and Republicans that keep telling us, there's not, I like Joe Jorgensen, but I can't take the chance of Biden
right
sitting in because there's just not enough libertarians. Yeah, there actually are.
Right.
Right.
We're here. We're here,
yeah.
And we're coming.
Well, what Kendahl's just said has to be our huge call to action this week. Is we really need for everyone who's passionate about liberty in Kentucky to go sign up, go volunteer, so that Kendahl can reach out to you. And I know there's a lot of people who are already volunteering a lot of time to down ballot candidates, and I'm cool with that because it just so happens I am one.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I've helped with ballot access, and ballot access is crazy expensive. And I knew I was going to talk about it a little today. So I pinged Ken Molman, and Ken Molman's about as good authority in this country on what it costs to get signatures for petitions. And his guesstimate is all in, time expense, everything, all expenses in, cost about $3.50 per validated signature in Kentucky. Now that would be considerably more in COVID days, but just under normal circumstances, about $3.50. So let's say you want to run Osei Brad Barron for Senate. That's $17,500 you're going to spend right off the top. That's before it's even worthwhile to have a yard sign or a bumper sticker just to get on the ballot. Never mind the $100,000 we had to raise to get KT to get us in the debate. So I mean, so this is a big deal. Helping Joe do well makes it easier for me to run again in 2022, or maybe we find somebody we like better to run for D2 in 2022. I don't know. I don't care. It's just I want people running. I want libertarians running. We need people running for U.S. House. We need people running for Senate. I don't think we'll run anybody against Rand, but we'll see how he behaves the next couple of years. I think we'll probably want to run somebody for governor. Anybody for state office is going to be the 5,000 again. Now, not all of them require that many signatures. The 5,000 is the worst number, but that's a big number. I mean, do you want to spend $17,500 running Ann Cormicans, whose husband probably just threw something at the screen because he doesn't want her to run again? But never mind that. We'll con her into it. Don't worry, guys. So. You can't be so short-sighted as to think we don't have to help Joe. And the other thing is, I thought Gary, man, how am I forgetting Gary's last name? Our 2016 candidate, Johnson.
I was wondering what we're talking about. Yeah.
Talk about an Aleppo moment.
You have Jorgensen, you have Brunson, and then Jorgensen, and it's like you just get it. Yeah.
But I thought he made a great point about you can't just have one candidate run. We need lots of candidates running.
Absolutely.
From top to bottom.
But so, we had the challenges that he had. You touched on it for a sec. Well, maybe you didn't. Well, yeah, you did, because you talked about Brad Barron. That's another thing that people don't know, is that the additional challenges that are put on us, not just financial, but also just, having to sue just to be on the debate stage, having the judge say, yes, we award you the right to be on the debate stage. And then they just, yank the carpet right out from under us and still don't let us go, and having to raise $100,000 in a very short amount of time. And we actually did it because we're awesome and we're here. Like you said, Kendahl, we're not going anywhere. But everybody knows that the challenge is, I've heard that so many times of, well, you can't even get anybody at the state level elected. Well, and then of course I just go into everything I said.
But like in Bowling Green, there are people who are going to be able to vote for Tim Philback. They're going to be able to vote for Robert Perry.
Yeah. Woo-hoo.
They're going to be able to vote for Brad Barron. And they're going to be able to vote for Spike and Joe. Yeah. And just maintaining that entire stack is a lot of publicity for our cause.
Yeah.
And, when you hear me and Tim speaking together, or me and Brad speaking together, or Jacob and James Toller speaking together, just the plethora of us being there and present helps people realize we're not some one-off crazy kook. There's a substantial number of people who are sincere about libertarianism. We are sincere about giving you all your freedoms all the time. And at the top of the ticket this year is Joe Jorgensen. So we need to work together to support Joe, because that is the top of that stack. You can't have that entire stack without having the top of it. That's how that works.
Don't tread on me, snake, right now. It's like what
Cool. So did we leave anything out? Believe it or not.
I want to talk really fast about that convoy that we had, just so we can go over some successes. And
yes.
Kendahl's also going to go over some successes, success stuff.
Right.
A lot of people in Jefferson County, Louisville, Kentucky, participated in a convoy. It was actually a national convoy. You may or may not know about this. That was all about, again, raising awareness to get her in the debates. What we did is everyone decorated their cars, with those markers, and just put the website and let her speak, and Joe Jorgensen, and all the hashtags, and it was a good time because it was family friendly. It was like a parade. So each location, decided where they were going to do the loop, and they just drove around a specific neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
And raising that awareness by making their cars the signs, and if they could, the passengers and stuff were holding out signs too. So it was great. But what's great about that event is that they have opened it up to the public. So that way, if you want to have another convoy, do it. If you want to, kind of what we were saying, what Kendahl was saying earlier, if you want to grab your friends and go, do it. If you want to try and organize it and make it bigger on the website, then do it. They have a website that's let-her-speak.org. And you can also type that into Facebook, and you're going to get their national event page there. But we had, I was told we had all 50 states participate at the end, because there was kind of like last minute locations. So I was told there was 50 states, all 50 states. So that was really awesome. And we didn't get all the totals in yet. We were able to get about 75% of everybody that was participating. And so far, we have counted that there was 1,566 attendees, 927 cars, 153 locations. Because there are multiple locations. Like Texas was huge, and North Carolina had a lot of locations. And they, the person that organized this, she actually submitted it to the Guinness Book of World Records, because we're pretty sure we broke a record by having the most convoys, across the nation. So that was kind of cool. I just wanted to let you know that happened recently, and it was a lot of fun. And if we can get more going, that would be great. Again, it's basically something else that's free. Right now I know it's really hard in COVID times. Everybody's super busy. We don't know what we're going to do with our kids that are starting school. If that's still all up in the air. So I know it's really difficult to volunteer right now, and might be difficult to spend a little bit of money, but I was just trying to mention here and there real easy ways to participate. Getting online and just simply hashtagging, it's actually working. We are taking over with the hashtags for sure. And the other candidates are taking note. So that's something that takes just a couple of seconds. And once you actually put it into your phone or your computer, it usually saves. So you just have to type in the hashtag symbol, and then all your other previous hashtags are going to come up. So it's going to be that much faster. And that's something you can do every single day. And it's just like a little thing that helps. But anyways, Robert, if you want to say something else, or if I pass it to which way?
Pass it to Kendahl. Yeah, you point to the sign. That's the cheat. The audience has no idea how hard this is, so you got to come up with little cheats. So you point at
opposite.
Hi. And also, Betsy, that Let Her Speak convoy was in all 50 states. I don't know if you mentioned that or not, but we hit all 50 states. So it was huge. It was huge.
Yes. Awesome. Thank you.
So like I said, if you want to volunteer, go to joe20.com/volunteer. Put in your information. I'll shoot you an email. If you want to get on Facebook, it's Kentucky for Joe Jorgensen Campaign Hub. You'll have to request to join, and then one of us will let you in. And if you would like some cool Joe Jorgensen campaign swag, like our T-shirts here, we'll show them off real quick. Oh, I'm going the wrong way. We'll show them off here. So if you would like some
yours
cool
is the
T-shirts
she's for us stuff. I'm jealous.
Yes. So the way to get these shirts is to go to joe20.com/give. If you donate $10, then you get a free yard sign. And if you donate $20, you get a free yard sign and a T-shirt, which is a pretty good deal. So again, you'll donate $10 for a sign, donate $20 for a sign and a T-shirt, and it's joe20.com/give.
Or 15 for just a T-shirt, right?
Or 15 for I think so.
Be it 15 T-shirt, 20.
What if I want both? So it's 25 for both?
It's 20 for both. Get a deal.
Nice.
Crazy.
Nice.
So that's the way to do it. Show off all your Joe Jorgensen campaign swag and make your neighbors jealous.
Excellent. Well, one thing I've pitched a lot these last few months, and it dovetails into this, is I'm a huge proponent of libertarians getting out of their house and going and meeting other libertarians. Because I was essentially a closet libertarian for like 16 years. I would like throw money at stuff occasionally or stuff like that. Went to a few events with David Patterson when I was his campaign manager for a while, but for the most part, closet libertarian. And then in 2016, I ended up going to a Fancy Farm, and it was my first real event where I hung out with libertarians. And hanging out with your fellow libertarians is special. It really is.
It's like a club. We know it's awesome.
Well,
but they kicked us out, didn't they? They started to kick us out, right?
Fancy Farm?
Yeah, wasn't it?
We're not commonly invited. It was Joshua Gilpin that got us invited in 2016. Got Nick Sarwark down there. Nick did a fabulous job for us in 2016. But it doesn't have to be a Nick Sarwark level event. It doesn't have to be a national chair event. It can just be 5 or 6 of your libertarian friends that you've talked with online. But, on this particular day, you're going to go out and wave signs together. And I promise you, it'll be unexpectedly magical. You'll go hang out with them for a while, and you'll be like, these really are awesome people. And like, my wife has not believed me on that for years. And like just a couple of weeks ago, I got her to go to a couple of libertarian events with me. And she's like, these are awesome people. I know you've been telling me for years, but it's like, but anyway, get out there, meet your fellow libertarians, and working for a candidate's a great way to do it. You can work for Brad Barron, you can work for Robert Perry, you can work for Joe Jorgensen, you can work for all of them at the same time.
And even if you don't want to interact with other people, which is understandable, you can still write into the polls and tell them you want Joe Jorgensen included. So
absolutely,
spam them up with your emails, calls. Let them know. Let them know you want Joe Jorgensen included on polls.
All right, so we're volunteering. We're going to the joe20.com/volunteer. Where is that?
Yes,
it's volunteer. So that Kendahl can pester you via email.
Yes.
And
nicely.
Nicely.
She's very nice.
And we're wearing red lipstick. And we're hashtagging. And we're
signs, waving signs.
We're waving signs.
Painting rocks if you want.
Yeah.
Right. And we're going to, what was the website again where you have to join to sync up with stuff like this, Kendahl? You said it?
The Facebook group is
the Facebook.
Kentucky for Joe Jorgensen Campaign Hub.
Thank you.
Yes.
So we might have to, I've seen a lot of links that people have dropped in here. We may have to do a little homework after this, ladies, make sure all the links people are in there, or maybe let's make one consolidated one. We'll like the top 4 or 5 links people are going to need. And the other thing you absolutely need to do is you need to tune back in, because we're gonna do this again as kind of a progress update and what we need to do next to sort of keep synced in. And I don't know if we're supposed to be announcing it, but I'm going to anyway. There was discussion last night about the Jorgensen campaign syncing up with some of the affiliates and some of the candidates so that we can all work together, because we're essentially on the same team. And Kendahl and Betsy, they might not be saying it, but effectively they're working for me too.
Absolutely.
For example, on the 29th, we're having a Roots and Liberty dinner. So who is the Jorgensen campaign sending for the Roots and Liberty dinner?
I know I've got my tickets, just like
there
you,
we
Robert.
go. There we go.
Kendahl said she had, like, somebody has a birthday or something. I don't know.
I'm moving. I am moving.
Oh,
maybe everybody can come help me move afterwards, after party.
Okay. No.
Okay.
Everybody's got to get dinner. It's $50, but you get a nice meal, and there's going to be an auction where Robert, tell them what you win. Am I facing the right way?
Yeah, you're facing the right way. You're doing it. So I was supposed to have apparently known about this earlier than I did, so they sort of caught me off guard, and I panicked, and I said road trip in the Tesla. I'm driving. Betsy keeps wanting to drive Bodica. You don't get to drive Bodica.
That are big fans of Tesla, so Lexington though. So most of my friends are in Louisville, but
I can pick them up in Louisville. That's no problem.
No, I think dinner and auction off. To bid on you.
Oh, I see. We'll bring them down.
But Tesla, a lot of Tesla fans.
Yeah. So Bodica's a Model 3 performance. She's the performance model, and me and Bodica will tell
everybody why you got to tell everybody about the name.
Oh, Bodica. Well, so the paint job's red, So I was looking for famous redheaded females, and Boudica was a British war queen who rebelled against the Romans. So I thought, for a libertarian's car, the idea of this rebellious war queen, that was just perfect. So that's why the car's Boudica. So and James's is a 1, 3, 5, or 7. Are those odds or primes, James?
All meals paid.
Wow.
That's pretty good.
That's pretty good too. I might bid on that one myself because I am a glutton for road trips. So I might end up taking somebody on one, and I might end up with James taking me on one. We'll see.
Did you say 1,000 miles though?
1,000 miles or less. You don't have to.
Texas. You can go to Dallas and Florida.
Well, round trip.
Okay, I've got to rein it in.
But I'm not.
Yeah, you're good. Almost Florida.
Yeah, and I'm a freaking libertarian, so I'm not going to be a real stickler on the rules. If it's 11, fine, I don't care. But it's basically a day trip, a long day trip is what we're after. That sort of thing. Wherever the heck you want to go. It does have to be someplace we can get to superchargers though. So
right. There's more and more. There's a pretty good amount now.
Oh yeah. If you pick a really rural place,
right,
it might be a little tricky.
Yeah.
Not to say we can't do it. It just might be a little tricky. But yeah, so that's mine. And come hang with me at the dinner. And Brett is volunteering his wife to go with James.
Yes. Both of you are coming.
All right, cool. So I think we've sort of devolved from volunteering and waving signs and wearing lipstick to just fun stuff. So we will call it an evening. But do come back, and we'll see what the Joe campaign has for us next time. Have a good evening, everyone.
Thanks, Robert. Thanks, everyone.
Certainly. Bye-bye.
Thank you.